They don't tell you this at the Champagne Open House. The cheapest day in your life as an island owner is the day you buy it. A glossy brochure will seduce you with a purchase price. $3 million, $12 million, $40 million. Like a single breathtaking number carved into marble. But islands are not numbers. They're living systems that eat money quietly, constantly, and forever. The question the smartest buyers ask is not, how much is the island? But, what is the yearly burn? If you love pulling back the velvet curtain on extreme luxury, real numbers, real trade-offs, tap subscribe and stick with me. Today we're decoding the economics of a private island, the sticker price versus the annual upkeep, the traps that blow up budgets, and the moves insiders use to keep the dream from turning into a very expensive shipwreck. Let's start with a truth that rattles even seasoned buyers. A private island behaves more like a boutique resort than a house. You're buying a remote micro-country that needs power, water, waste systems, transportation, security, and staff every single day, whether you're there or not. And those needs don't scale down as politely as you think. The two islands that teach you everything. To make this concrete, meet two archetypes you'll see again and again in the listing world. Island A, the canvas. A 20 to 40 acre, off-grid Caribbean islet within an hour of a major airport by boat. Price tag around the low to mid-seven figures, with a couple of existing buildings and a rickety dock. The brochure says, development potential. Translation, you're buying a blank canvas with a generator and a dream. Island B, the jewel. A fully master-planned, architected 40 to 120 acre property with solar arrays, desalination, sleek villas, a safe harbor, a helipad, polished service quarters, and a manager who knows where every cable and valve lives. The price is multiple 8s to 9 figures. Translation, someone else paid to suffer through the hard parts. The psychology is obvious. Island A feels affordable and creative. Island B feels done, and therefore too expensive. But the economics often reverse that feeling over time. Why? Because the purchase price is a one-time event. Upkeep is a lifestyle, the CAPEX versus Opex reality check. Think of the island in two ledgers: Capex, capital expenditures, one-time or irregular investments, purchase, due diligence, surveys, environmental studies, legal work, infrastructure build, dock, breakwater, helipad, arts airstrip, roads, solar, generators, batteries, desalination, wastewater, fiber/satellite comms, construction of villas, staff housing, kitchens, storage, fuel farm, cold chain, workshops, permits, compliance mitigations, shoreline reinforcement, hurricane hardening, operating expenditures, the annual rhythm you live with, energy, diesel or gasoline for gensets and boats, solar maintenance, battery replacements, inverter servicing, water, desalination filters and membranes, pumps, cistern upkeep, waste, septic plant servicing, gray water systems, composting, disposal logistics, transport, tender boats, captains, fuel, occasional helicopter charters, marina and customs fees, staff, managers, grounds, housekeeping, maintenance, marine crew, chefs, security, relief rotations and benefits, maintenance, roofs, docks, pilings, walkways, aircon, appliances, spare parts, inventory, insurance, catastrophe coverage, marine vessels, liability, taxes and fees, property taxes, mooring or maritime fees, environmental compliance, provisions, food, beverages, linen, amenities, spare inventories, cold chain deliveries, communications, satellite or fiber backhaul, routers, redundancy, contingency, storm repairs, emergency logistics, guest mishaps, medical evacuations. A house has bills, an island has systems, and systems want technicians, parts, redundancy, and a manager who thinks like a ship's captain. Why cheap islands get expensive fast. The bargain trap is simple. Without the right infrastructure, You will import your stability by boat in jerry cans and crates at premium prices forever. Fuel, water, ice, groceries, linens, lumber, cleaning agents. Everything makes a wet, time-sensitive, labor-intensive journey to your shore. Every time weather closes the channel, your costs don't stop. They compound. So the owner of Island A does the sensible thing. Invest to reduce dependency. A bigger solar array. A modern desal plant. Battery upgrades. A proper dock that won't snap in a nor'easter. Maybe a helipad for medical and logistics redundancy. Each sensible upgrade is sound, but each one is capital heavy upfront and adds a maintenance footprint afterward. You spend to save and then pay to maintain what saves you. That's the Island paradox. Meanwhile, Island B's jaw-dropping purchase price, bundled in all that invisible work, hard engineering, trial by storm lessons, the spare parts ecosystem, and the veteran manager who already has local government on speed dial. From the day you close, your operations are boring in the best possible way. The price versus upkeep equation you can actually use. Here's the mindset shift smart buyers make. They don't compare listing prices. They compare total cost of ownership, TCO, over a 5 to 10 year horizon. Instead of asking, can I buy this island? They ask, what is my annual burn at the lifestyle I actually want? And how much Capex must I invest to hit that number reliably? To get there, you break your annual life on the island into duty cycles. Idle mode, nobody in residence. Skeleton staff, security rounds, basic systems ticking over, boats exercised weekly, owner mode, family and friends. Full staff rotation, kitchens open, boats running, laundry and linens moving, recreation active. Guest mode, if you occasionally host paying guests or charitable retreats. Peak service with higher consumables and wear. Each mode has different draw on power, water, fuel, consumables, and labor. Your yearly cost is essentially the weighted average of those modes, multiplied by the logistics tax of being surrounded by salt water. Think also in resilience tiers. Tier 1, generator dependent, lowest Capex, highest fuel and maintenance volatility. Tier 2, hybrid, solar plus batteries, handle baseload. Generators cover peaks and cloudy strings. Tier 3, solar first, with robust storage. Highest Capex, flattest OPEX. Best for predictable burn. Every step up in resilience smooths your monthly bills but increases your capital at risk. On islands, smooth is usually worth it, because storms, fuel shortages, and parts delays are not if, but when. The 5 silent multipliers that mess with budgets. 1. Salt is a saboteur. Salt air is a non-stop chemical attack on metal, paint, wiring, motors, zippers, hinges, and your patience. Preventative maintenance isn't a chore. It's a calendar with alarms. 2. Boats are buses. Every delivery rides a boat, and sometimes a second one. Boats need fuel, trained crew, spares, haul-outs, and weather windows. Your grocery bill now includes diesel. 3. People don't teleport. You don't just have staff. You recruit them, house them, feed them, rotate them, insure them, and sometimes evacuate them. On a well-run island, HR is mission-critical logistics. 4. Redundancy is not a luxury. Everything that matters, you buy twice. Pumps, filters, radios, genset starters, water makers, outboards, SAT terminals. Redundancy has a price, and not having it has a bigger one. 5. Paper beats paradise. Permits, inspections, maritime rules, environmental protections, and property taxes all still exist, even in paradise. Budget for compliance the way you budget for fuel. Let's sketch 2 lifestyle-accurate budgets to grasp the dynamics. We'll keep this qualitative in part 1 and run the numbers more tightly in part 2. The under-the-radar owner on Island A keeps things simple. 2 modest villas, a shaded outdoor kitchen, a small solar field with a generator as backup, a potable water maker size for family use, and a competent 3 to 5 person staff who cross-train. They visit in 2-week bursts across the year. Boats are 22 to 28 foot center consoles. No helipad, no runway, no marina breakwater. The annual cost is dominated by fuel, maintenance, and staff, plus the steady trickle of filters, membranes, and consumables. Storm Reserve sits in a separate account because they've learned not to tempt fate. The showpiece owner on Island B builds for seamless hospitality. Multiple villas with private plunge pools, an arrivals pavilion, a deep water dock with fenders and power, a helipad with lighting, solar-heavy microgrid with large format batteries, a high-capacity RO plant, sophisticated wastewater treatment, walk-in refrigerators and freezers, a service tunnel for linens and housekeeping, and staff housing engineered for dignity and comfort. Boats include a 35 to 45 foot tender for big runs and a couple of smaller utility craft. The staff roster looks like a small hotel's, with a marine engineer at the heart of the operation. Annual cost here is driven by payroll, planned maintenance, insurance, and asset refresh cycles. Predictable but large. Same ocean, different math. Where purchase price misleads most. Buyers often believe there's a linear relationship. Higher price, higher annual cost. In truth, the correlation is curvy. A low purchase price without infrastructure can produce a surprisingly high and volatile annual burn. A higher purchase price that includes robust infrastructure and a seasoned team can lower the percentage of annual cost relative to capital value and compress surprises. You can pay up front or pay forever. Paradise lets you choose your pain. The smartest line, item, no one puts on the spreadsheet. It's not the dock, it's not the helipad, it's not even the solar, it's the island manager. A great manager is an insurer, a diplomat, a quartermaster, a chief financial officer of spare parts, and a storm whisperer. They know which contractor actually shows up, who to call when customs hiccups, which pump can be rebuilt from 2 broken ones, and the precise day your generator belt will cry for mercy. The difference between a cheap island that got expensive and a pricey island that runs like a Swiss watch is often one person with a radio, a spreadsheet, and a deep sense of place. Let's get ruthless. What does an island really burn each year when you're not just owning it, but living your version of paradise on it? We'll keep our 2 archetypes and add realistic cost bands. Remember, these are not fantasy brochure numbers. They're salt in your electrical panel numbers. Island A, the canvas, 20 to 40 acres, hybrid solar plus generator, small dock, 2 modest villas, cross-trained team of 3 to 5, boat-only access. Island B, the jewel, 40 to 120 acres, engineered microgrid with large format batteries, helipad, deep water dock, multiple villas, hotel-grade back of house, 12 to 20 staff, the duty cycle lens, how you actually use it, idle mode, 8 to 9 months typical, skeleton crew, daily rounds, light power and water, boats exercised weekly, owner mode, 8 to 12 weeks total, family, plus friends, full kitchens, laundry, recreation, 2 boats moving, guest mode, 0 to 4 weeks optional, white glove service, spares consumed, everything on standby. Your annual spend is the weighted average of those modes, plus the marine markup that life on the water demands. Cost bands you can bank on. Annual. 1. People, payroll plus housing, plus rotations, benefits. Island. A. Manager, 1 great one, 2 to 4 cross-trained staff, $220,000 to $450,000. Island B. GM or island manager, marine engineer, chef, housekeepers, grounds, captains. Security, $1.2 million to $2.5 million. Why it scales? Rotations, relief hires, and decent staff housing, which you should absolutely build, are not optional. On a good island, HR is logistics. 2. Energy, diesel, plus generator service, plus solar maintenance, plus batteries amortized. Island A $18,000 to $45,000. Low base load covered by solar. Generator covers peaks and cloudy strings. Island B, $80,000 to $200,000. Solar heavy system but larger base load. Kitchens, AC, cold rooms, laundry. Hidden tail, batteries age. Budget, a replacement reserve, often 8 to 12 years. So the eventual six-figure bill doesn't arrive on a bad storm season. 3. Water, RO plant, membranes, filters, pumps. Island I. $6,000 to $20,000 depending on hours run and water quality. Island IB, $25,000 to $80,000 with higher throughput and redundancy. Non-negotiable, keep duplicate pumps and membranes on site. Shipping a membrane in peak season can take weeks you don't have. 4. Boats and marine, fuel, house haul-outs, plus spares, plus captains. Island A, one main tender, plus utility skiff. $15,000 to $45,000 fuel. $5,000 to $20,000 maintenance. Total, $20,000 to $65,000. Island B, 35 to 45 feet tender, plus utility boats. $80,000 to $220,000 fuel. $40,000 to $90,000 maintenance. Now, total, $120,000 to $310,000. Salt tax. Outboards live hard lives. Keep spare lower units and propellers. You're running a bus route over water. 5. Maintenance and repairs. Infrastructure plus villas, plus docks, plus AC plus roofs. Island A, 2 to 4% of improvements value. $100,000 to $250,000 typical. Island B, 2 to 4% on a larger base. $600,000 to $1.6 million. Why the range? Exposure, windwardy leeward, build quality, and storm history. Marine grade everything pays for itself. 6. Insurance, catastrophe, plus liability, plus marine. Island A, $60,000 to $150,000 depending on location, deductibles, and insured values. Island B, $300,000 to $900,000. Can exceed $1 million for trophy builds. Reality check. Availability fluctuates. Some jurisdictions' markets harden after bad seasons. Be ready with reserves and mitigation upgrades to keep premiums sane. 7. Taxes and government fees. Jurisdiction specific. Island A, $0 to $120,000. Island B, $30,000 to $250,000. Note: some places favor low annual property taxes and high transfer duties. Others flip the script. The quiet costs are often environmental compliance and maritime fees. 8. Provisions and consumables. Food, linen service, cleaning, amenities, cold chain. Island A, $30,000 to $90,000 depending on owner weeks and crew meals. Island B, $180,000 to $450,000 with hospitality grade inventory and guest weeks. Pro tip: consolidate supply runs into predictable cycles. Spontaneous last-minute deliveries are how budgets bleed. 9. Communications and IT, satellite, fibers, backhaul, redundancy. Island, $8,000 to $20,000. Island B, $15,000 to $40,000. Buy reliability twice. Primary link plus hot spare. Starlink plus maritime satellite, or fiber plus satellite backup. 10. Logistics and everything else. Customs, freight, waste, permits, small wares, training. Island A, $15,000 to $40,000. Island B, $80,000 to $150,000. Contingency. Because islands don't care about your spreadsheet, add 10 to 20% of Opex. Owning a private island is not about beating the ocean. It's about making peace with it, engineering for it, and budgeting like you live on a moving border between comfort and chaos. The purchase price opens the door. The yearly upkeep decides whether the door stays open smoothly for the next decade. Paradise rewards the boringly prepared. Smooth power, dry staff rooms, quiet docks, redundancy for anything that can ruin a weekend, buy once, cry once, and let the ocean be the only thing that's dramatic.